Hi everyone, it's Paul Norris here. I just want to say thanks to everyone who's listened to my Your Life album, which had 13 original songs on it, and that was uploaded to YouTube in January 2023. And also my follow-up album, which had 12 original songs on it, called Some Days, and that was uploaded to YouTube in May 2024 this year. So this little audio cast is just me describing each of the songs on the Some Days album. So I'll go through them all track by track briefly, and here we go. Track 1 is Some Days. It started off as a piano riff and the lyric was sometimes, but after a while I think I sort of came to the conclusion it was better some days. The song's about living and working in the inner city or a large city, and doesn't have to be Melbourne, but it is certainly the issues and the activities and routines we all go through as workers in a large city. I guess it's the opposite of a country song. It's a city song, describes the city landscape, and I think it's a nice opener for the album. So that's Some Days, track 1 on my Some Days album. Track 2 is Better World, and that song was inspired by watching cable TV news. These vocals start off like a newsreader, just reading the stories, just going through the list of stories. And the topics are war, the environment, technology and AI, pollution. Then the second part of the song is like the viewer watching these stories unfold. And the idea that perhaps if we could fix these things, we could have a better world. And the third part of the song is the sort of completion of the news cycle where people see the news stories, they're thinking about what's on TV, and then the others that go out and show activism in the streets. So the layered guitars at the end are all about those voices as they go past the TV news cameras, presenting their issues in front of the TV news cameras and the authorities. So that's sort of like the three parts of the song. And the bridge is about that too, the protesters saying their slogans and messages. So I think that describes the song. It's a rocky little number with lots of layered guitars, and the guitars at the end are reflecting the random voices of the protesters as they go past the TV news cameras. So that's Better World, track 2 on my Some Days album. Track 3 is Hero. That's a very simple little piano song. I guess it's a ballad, a love ballad really, and it started off as Superhero, and I was thinking about those superhero type movies and things like that. It seemed to be simpler and better once I took away the super from hero, and it just became Hero. So let me be your hero. That seemed to solve what I was trying to say, simplified it, made it clearer, and then I could add more lyrics. The bridge in the song is just adding more empathy, and it's all about one person going out on a limb, taking a risk and being heroic in their own way to tell another person that they care about them. And the guitars are just, I guess, a little gold star flashing because that person is responding to what's just been said to them. Favourably, I might add. So that's a nice thing. So it's a sort of hopefully a romantic type song. So that's Hero, track number 3 on my Some Days album. Track 4 is In the Morning. Now that started off as a piano riff. I changed the key to suit my vocal, had 2 sections, and I thought that sounded pretty good. So then I put some drums behind it, and I thought, yeah, this is good, but what is it? And then I was thinking about something about it's the morning. It's the morning and the sun's about to rise. Now I didn't think that was the best lyric ever, and I wasn't sure. I didn't like that too much, but it was something to start with. Then what happened was I went on a brief holiday to the Gold Coast. I'd woken up, it was about 5 o'clock in the morning. It was dark, and I thought, it's warm, I've got the windows open, late night, early morning, balmy. So I thought I'd make myself a glass of ice water and sat down on the balcony and just looked at what was then a red blob on the horizon in the darkness over the Coral Sea. And then as I was drinking my ice water, the sun began to rise and the red became gold, and then eventually the blue sky was emerging, and the sea, you could start to see the sea. So it was one of those things where I thought I'll take a photo with that, and then I like that idea of the sun the whole sky turning from red to blue. So I jotted that down on my phone. Then after I got back to Melbourne, I was going through that again, thinking about that sunrise, and I thought maybe it should be in the morning. That was better, and in the morning and like before the morning. So move the whole idea of the song. So we're going to talk about the morning, and in the morning we'll come up with some fresh ideas. We'll start again. Things we said in the past, and tonight we're going to sleep on it, rest on it. In the morning we'll get up early and away we go. So I thought that was a really good thing about a fresh start, and it sort of galvanized the idea. The piano riff seemed to fit in with the lyrics, and it felt like something positive. So that was great. So that was locked in. And the other thing that I brought back from Queensland was when the sun was rising over the Coral Sea on the Gold Coast, the sounds of the tropical birds as the sun was rising. So I remembered that, and I thought on the outro of the song, each guitar riff, each little phrase that I was playing was a bird. So there's the lorikeets, the parrots, the water birds, all doing their little chirpy noises. So that was the guitar outro. So that was the Stratocaster, and that gave me an excuse to play some extended guitar riffs, which represented the tropical birds on the Gold Coast. So that's In the Morning. It's track number 4 on my Some Days album. Track number 5 is Broke My Heart. It's a breakup song, obviously, and it's in the past tense. So the story is that there's no chance of a reconciliation here for the relationship. It's over. And also the atmosphere is wintertime. So I put down the piano, the drums, the bass, all sounded really good. Strings, organ. Then the idea of the guitar. So what I decided to use was a Les Paul guitar. So I've got one of those, and I double tracked the solo and the outro. So and after spending quite a bit of time to get a really nice sound, and it's basically a guitar gently weeping type song. So to coin a phrase from another famous song. But I didn't copy that or anything. It's just the feeling of a sweet melancholy in the winter inside after a relationship breakup. And that's Broke My Heart, track number 5 on my Some Days album. Track number 6 is Cool by the Pool, and that was inspired by me changing the setting on my air conditioner from heating to cooling. So as the warmer weather came through, around about Christmas time in 2023, I switched the air conditioner across to cooling setting, put my hand up to the vent, and out came the cold air. So I thought, good, we're cool by the pool. So by this time, I guess I'd been writing quite a few songs. I had given myself the challenge to write 12 songs in 12 months by this stage. So I started the whole process in April 2023, and by December I was really steaming along with the ideas. So I guess I was just more in tune with rhymes or funny turns of phrase because they might be potential songs, titles, or lyric ideas. Cool by the Pool sounded like a song, but how the heck was I going to write a song like that? So a couple of days later I was still thinking about that idea, and then I was walking up some stairs or out across the footpath, whatever it was, and I got struck by the idea. She was looking really cool lying by the pool. I thought, well, maybe that's the idea. And a guy has seen a girl sitting by the pool in a bathing suit. He likes what he sees and he wants to go over and talk to her, but he wants to be cool. He doesn't want to blow it. He wants to be confident. And I thought, well, there's a double meaning on the word cool. So there's a little story there, so I could work with that. The electric piano is what I kind of started with, and then that opening line seemed to work well with some chords I put to it. So it's electric piano, and then the bass, I changed over and used double bass, upright bass, on the MIDI keyboard. So that's with my left hand. Then I got some Stratocaster, had the strings and the organ and all that sort of stuff. And then, well, there's a twist in the story, so I developed it. It was like a mini movie, a fictional story, and but I won't spoil it, like any good movie. So you'll have to listen to the whole song to find out what the twist is in the story. So that's Cool by the Pool, track number 6 on my Some Days album. Track number 7 is Drums of War. It's a dramatic song. Ironically, there are no drums in the song despite that title. And the elements of it, the piano, the ragged guitar, and the strings and the organ, are giving a very harsh and jagged sort of representation of what the war front is like. And the piano has been described as a percussion instrument. So the piano sort of sets the rhythm, and the piano is kind of like the drums, and it sort of reflects the churning of the engines that is in the cars, the transports, the tanks, the drones, the mechanics of war on the battlefront. The guitar is jagged like the razor wire, and the scene is the trenches, the camouflage, the rocket launchers, the tank traps, the razor wire, that kind of thing, and the snow and ice in winter. It's not a pretty song, but it's stark, like the actual battlefield itself, with some very gritty guitar in there. So that's Drums of War, track 7 on my Some Days album. Track number 8 is Inked Up Jane, and it was inspired by me being served a coffee by a barista in a local coffee shop. Now, I know the staff there, and one day I was served my coffee, went over to collect it, and then I noticed the lady barista, the young lady serving me, had tattoos put on her forearms. And I said, "Oh, that's nice." And she said, "Yes, I've just had them done." And she was very proud of them. So it was a fashion statement for her. And I thought, well, last week you didn't have them, and this week you did have them, so you're now inked up. And I thought, yeah, she's inked up. Good. So I walked out, and I was thinking about inked up and putting a name there. Not her, not the lady barista, but another name, just a character. And I thought, Inked Up Jane. That sounds like something. It's like a generic female name, Inked Up Jane. So I thought, how could I do a story, Inked Up Jane? So I think I've got a character. So it ended up being a story about a guy who is involved with this young lady with tattoos, and he is a bit bemused by the whole situation, or pressured a bit, because he can't keep up with her really, because she's a social butterfly. She flies in town, flies out, and he's trying to keep up with her. So it's sort of slightly whimsical. It's a rocky song. It's a bumper piano. So I found that all seemed to work, but when it came to the inevitable guitar solo, I know what I'll do. I'll do something different. And about 6 months before that, I'd bought 2 lap steel guitars from a second-hand store, and I was asked by someone who knew me, who said, "Did you end up playing lap steel? What happened?" And I thought, well, hey, that's what I'll do. So around that time, I thought I'll take one of the lap steel guitars out of the cupboard and tune it up. So I did, and it was the 6-string lap steel, but the problem was I didn't have a slide. The local music shops didn't have them. I had to order the one I wanted online, but not a bottleneck. It looks like a little steel anvil. But I thought, what else have I got around the house that I can use as something like that? And I went to the kitchen drawer, and there was a small carving knife in there, which, when you turned it upside down, it looked like a rounded, flat-edged tool that I could play the lap steel with, very similar to the slide that I was after, but couldn't get hold of. So the only problem was it had a sharp blade on it because it was a carving knife. So I had to wrap around microfiber cloths, lots of duct tape and padding, and then I could hold the knife without cutting the palm of my hand. So then I could play the upturned handle like a slide. And that worked. So the way I played the lap steel, I put a slap back reverb on it, and it kind of suited the mayhem and fun of the songs. So that's track number 8, a fun little rock song about a lady with tattoos, and I played the lap steel with the handle of a carving knife. Track number 9 is Notre Dame, and I just put some piano in there, added some strings and some organ and French horn. It's like a kid's nursery rhyme type of thing, And you may have heard the story that Notre Dame Cathedral in Paris caught fire in 2019. And they raised $1 billion to restore the old cathedral. And it's taken about 5 years. And December the 8th, 2024 will be the reopening. And the bell tower has been put back in, the 8,000 pipe organ has been restored, etc., etc. And artisans and engineers had to go out and source local timber, which is French oak, I believe, and reconstruct the roof and the spire. So that's all been done, and apparently it'll be open to the public for a short while for free. So when I went there, I had to pay €1, and I got an iPad with headphones attached, and you just walk around and look at the points of interest, and it explains what's there. But it takes a long time to see everything, and it's an amazing atmosphere in this. It's like an 800-year-old time capsule of human history. Very impressive and unforgettable. So that's my little tribute to Notre Dame, the fire and the restoration, and that's track number 9 on my Some Days album. Track number 10 is Salt and Sugar, and the song was inspired by me cooking a green curry, basically, and the ingredients I put back in my pantry. And I got up the next morning, opened up my pantry, and there was, in the wrong place, not where they should be, was a packet of salt and a packet of brown sugar. So I'm thinking, salt and sugar, what are they doing there? I'll have to put them down below because I wanted to get a coffee mug. But that idea of salt and sugar, I thought bitter and sweet. We all like that. Bitter and sweet, something salty, something. And then brown sugar, obviously that was a big hit by the Rolling Stones, and I've even played that song in a cover band, as have many. So I was thinking as I went over to the supermarket, salt and sugar, bittersweet, and I'm thinking about the Rolling Stones, and I'm walking along with intent to go and get something from the supermarket, and the idea just hit me right then: salt and sugar, life can be so bittersweet. So there was that attitude walking, and what am I going to do with this? It sounds like a Rolling Stones song. Maybe I could do that, make it into a Stones type of thing. And as a coincidence, within a day or two, the Rolling Stones announced their new single called Angry, and I listened to that, and the production was pristine. And in the left channel was Ronnie Wood with his Stratocaster, and Keith Richards on the right channel with his Telecaster. So I thought maybe I could do exactly that. I'll put a Strat on the left-hand side, I'll put a Telecaster on the right-hand side and play those. So that's what I did. And I wrote a chorus pretty much around that. So the chorus was pretty much instantly in my head. Salt and sugar, life can be so bittersweet. Then the idea of walking or keeping your attitude up, staying with it, staying positive or whatever, that seemed to be there, and just moving forward seemed to be the concept. So I had a rocky beat behind it, got the bass going, the song, all those words. And if you listen to the song, all the words are exactly what happened to me. I was in a reception band. It was a regular paid job in music. I did pull over to a bay and see the storm coming, and I did break up with a girl. I did join a rock band. We played covers and hit songs, and that's when I started contributing songs to a band, which then went forward, and we played our original songs in pubs around Melbourne and supported some fairly well-known bands. So that was great. So that's all in the song. And I used to play guitar and keyboard in the reception band, and people would turn up and have a happy night with their wedding or their birthday or whatever the occasion was. And it was good fun. And meals were provided and we got paid. So that was great. Then I joined the rock band, and then there was another aspect where I'd have a keyboard and a guitar, and I'd lug those things around with me to pubs and that sort of thing. So I had that aspect. So that's all in the song. So that's Salt and Sugar. I don't think it sounded like the Rolling Stones by the time I finished it. I think it just sounded like me. But I wanted enough story information and a structure in the song where I could play a guitar solo and then come in later on with another solo on the keyboard, which is an organ keyboard. So that also reflects the fact that I played both keyboards and guitar in these bands. So that's Salt and Sugar, inspired by me cooking a green curry and the Rolling Stones. It's track number 10 on my Some Days album. Track number 11 is Quiet Time, and it came about because I was reading a story, a travel story, and then that person said they had some quiet time during the trip, and I thought, quiet time. And I think within a day after reading that, I was going to a shopping centre and a sign was prominently displayed around the centre promoting quiet time, and there was a clock underneath it. And it must have been a special deal for, I think, mothers with babies. I'm not sure, but for me, it was reinforced from the article, quiet time. There's quiet time again, quiet time. So within 24 hours, I'd been exposed to this little phrase. To me, quiet time was the end of the working week. So you'd ring up your girlfriend and say, hey, Friday night, I'm cooking a beef casserole. I've got this nice bottle of wine. Why don't you come around? And she says, oh, great. All right, I've cooked a souffle, so I'll bring that around, and I've got this as well, chocolates or something. So great. So when she arrives, you've got the mood music on and, relaxation music. I don't know what you'd call it, but maybe it's smooth jazz or tinkly piano type music. So I thought, why not write a song about what quiet time represents in my mind? So I thought, that's it. And the song lyrics are about working and what we're doing to earn $1, and then there's time, chill out time to relax at the end of the week. So that's quiet time, lots of tinkly piano. With this one, I played the fretless bass. I think it sounded better. And there's no guitar on it, so tinkly piano. So I thought I'd just have extended areas where I just play some tinkly piano. And that's about as simple as I could think. And then I worked out a bridge that seemed to work really well, but that was a bit, I don't know, I wanted it to be good or really be thought out. So I spent a bit of time working out bridges, and 2 or 3 attempts, and I got it. So it's got the organ, it's got some muted trumpet. That's a MIDI, so the MIDI effect, the MIDI keyboard has muted trumpet, so I put this on as well. It's like Chris Botti or Miles Davis, just muted, sandy, sort of grainy, muted trumpet, so that adds the ambiance. I thought it's a fun little song about just relaxing at the end of the week, and that's quiet time. My vocal is a bit, I'm crooning the vocal, it's a bit like Michael Bublé, that kind of thing. Maybe he'll do that song one day, I don't know. But it's that kind of idea, and something different from the other tracks on the album. And that's Quiet Time, and that's Quiet Time, track 11 on my Some Days album. Track number 12 is Thought I'd Write a Song. It's the last track on my Some Days album, and it's a bit indie sounding. It's a song about writing a song. And someone gave me a micro amp, and it has a battery, a headphone socket, a volume and gain switch. So you just plug it into your guitar, plug in the headphones, turn it on, adjust the gain and the volume. And when you play your guitar, no one else can hear you, and you're just strumming away, which I was, on the guitar. So it's a Stratocaster, I'm just playing away, and I'm playing at what sounded like a bit of an indie sound. And the lyrics that came to me, I can bash it out on one guitar. And I've had these 2 chords, and I'm just banging away, I can bash it out on one guitar. And then I sort of started thinking about what the song could go nowhere, or it might go far. That sort of rhyme, that kind of thing. And then you could hear it in your car, Well, this is about a song that's maybe written on a couch somewhere, which it is, or was, and taken into a band room, which I did, and you go into your indie band mates are there, and you play them your song, and because we were in a 50-50 cover band, and we were all interested in presenting someone's original song to the crowd, and playing some covers as well, or hits, songs to the crowd. So that was a great thing about the band. So you take in your sheet of paper or your tape, the chords, the words, and we'd all start playing it if they liked it. So so that's where a song could go into rehearsals. Then we practiced it up, went into the set, then we played it live. Then we had a live tape of ourselves playing it. So etc., etc. So that's what a lot of indie bands were doing, or are doing still. Just that process. But of course, there are a lot of songwriters who just have a piano in their bedroom or kitchen or whatever it is. They write the song, they take it into a music publisher, or they've got a band and they start playing it, and then they get on the radio, and then it gets recorded in the studio, etc. Then it becomes a hit, then it might win a Grammy, it might go far, the song can go far. And even As far as outer space, like I was thinking about David Bowie's song Space Oddity was played by an astronaut who was into Bowie and guitars and things, and there he is, you can see it on YouTube. He's playing his guitar and performing the song while inside the space station, weightless, just bouncing around in space. So that was fun. And I was looking at Voyager 1 and 2 spacecraft. They were launched in the 70s, and Carl Sagan, who devised the Cosmos series about the universe and the planets and everything, philosophical, scientific program, he coordinated the discs that went on the side of the Voyager 1 and 2 spacecraft. And one side of the disc has etchings of symbols from the Earth, and the other side has grooves, micro grooves, sound effects, sounds of Earth. So this record is on the side of the Voyager 1 and 2 spacecraft. I believe the first one is audio only, and the second one has video and audio on it. So there are songs from, or sound effects from the Earth, just sounds of nature. There are also indigenous music from around the globe, from the Amazon to, gypsy music from wherever, everything's on there. But also Johnny B. Good is on there by Chuck Berry, so there's a bit of rock and roll on this disc as well. And that Voyager spacecraft went past our solar system and is in the outer part of our solar system and still going, drifting out there, or both of those probes. So that's how far a song might go out there, and whether anyone finds it one day or whatever, will hopefully be able to reproduce what's on that disc. So I guess that's part of what the song is, just to go from someone's idea, the seed of the idea of a song, which was me on the couch, and then putting a production behind it that sounded a bit more like an indie band, and the idea of bashing it out sort of thing in a band room on a guitar, but then it might go far, it might go nowhere or it might go far. And I guess the end of the song is like radio waves swooshing around the Earth. Many have said that the radio waves go out into space anyway, so they're getting transmitted not only around the world, but they're going out into space. So the song could go from a couch to being a hit, to being on a movie soundtrack, to outer space. So that's what I guess I was trying to say with a song in that idea about writing songs, and just reference to what the content of the song might be. And that's, at the end of the song is like, it's just sort of whirling around the Earth and then going out into space, like the old space probes, just still going out there, just going further and further out to space and tailing off. And I guess the song, the way it ends, is just sort of running out. The guitars are running down like the batteries or the solar panels, getting further away from the sun, and it's sort of all running down. And the fade out, or the end of the song, outro, is like the end of the movie 2001: A Space Odyssey. So it's just like, I don't know, maybe it's just a song that's gone out further and further into the universe. So that's the last track on the album, track 12, a song about writing songs called Thought I'd Write a Song. And that brings us to the end of the Some Days album. Thanks for listening to my descriptions about each track. And I guess for me, the process of songwriting is just making sure I start writing down the ideas on a piece of paper. And as it gets to a more complete idea, I just stick another piece of A4 next to it. So then I just rewrite it once I've scribbled too much and I can't read it anymore, until I have a finished idea from beginning to end, all written down on paper. And I can put that in front of me, or put it away and bring it out again and keep working on it. So I can handle multiple songs at once, and I've got a folder. After 6 months of writing, you've got 6 songs or 7 songs, and then I had a goal of writing 12 songs in 12 months for Some Days. So and that's what I achieved, and I was able to record them as well. So I think I got a momentum going, and the 12 songs were written and recorded within the 12 months, which was great. And then I mixed them down in May 2024 and then uploaded them to YouTube in May 2024. So I put the song titles, like my Your Life album, I just put it on YouTube showing the titles, and I guess it forces people to listen to each track, and like an album, and the cover looks like a CD cover or a record cover. It's square and playing of a CD. As you click on to start the video of the album, each track comes up in sequence. So I thought I wouldn't put chapters on there, and maybe it forces you. You can scroll along and skip to the next track. But I thought it might be nice just to have the both albums out there as like virtual CDs, just playing once you hit the button. You can move the scrolling along if you want to change tracks, and the track name will show you that you've arrived at the next song. So thanks very much for listening to my Some Days album, and also my previous album, Your Life, on YouTube. And this is Paul Norris saying bye for now.